In today's video, we're going to be diving into the upcoming pattern, which does look exceptionally warm and humid throughout the central and eastern states. As we've noted over the last few videos, there will be numerous cold fronts that do impact us during this overall warmer and more humid pattern, though, and that will bring cold and dry air, overall Arctic blasts coming in with these cold fronts. And what I mean by that is air blasting down from the Arctic Circle. I don't mean it's going to be 32, but this will be Arctic intrusions down from far north in Canada all the way down into the United States. So pretty big swings on the way, and this will bring severe weather threats as well. I'm excited to announce that I just released a brand new vlog. Right as you're watching this video, it is available on my Ashton Blue channel. You can check it out on the top right corner of your screen, the pinned comment and description down below. We went to Florida, we went boating, we went to a Disney resort, we went all sorts of places. We went to Disney Springs, it was awesome, and we saw and actually encountered a very intense thunderstorm that hit us while we were boating, and we had to get out of there really quickly. Okay, we might get hit actually. Rachel, what's going on?
I don't know.
Oh, fuck! Get us out of here! Check it out today. Subscribe to that channel, like I said, like the video and comment down below that video because it helps me out so much as I'm just beginning to grow that channel. It helps it get suggested to more people, which is very, very hard to do when you're first starting out. So that would mean the world to me if you guys would just go do those three things over on that channel. Now, with all that being said, let's dive into things. We're taking a look at our dew points, and it's pretty easy to tell where it's going to be humid and where it's going to be dry. I love this graphic because it makes it very clear. I don't even have to explain it to you guys. So we can tell that there is overwhelmingly dry air across the west, which is very, very typical. And then we have this southeast and south central corridor, very, very humid in here, quite the opposite. Yesterday in particular, last night, seemed very humid, around here in Virginia at least. And what we can see is that this is going to surge northward over the coming days. This is by Friday afternoon. And what we see is that a lot of this has moved further and further towards the north here, but we do see dry air starting to swing down from Canada, and this is probably associated with our very cold air as well, and this is going to create some instability in these areas when the dry and humid air interact. We can also see a lot of this moving southward and trying to move from the south central into the southeast. This is going to create also some thunderstorm threats in these areas as well. This is by Saturday afternoon. By Sunday, we can see a lot of this, not super dry air, but drier air is starting to expand eastward through these areas now. So we're probably seeing precipitation and thunderstorms along this area as it moves through. The biggest point, though, is that this cold, dry air does move in, but look at how quickly the humidity rebounds. It shoves its way northward. It is a battle, but by the time we reach the end of the model run, we end up at an even more humid point than what we were dealing with. So again, dry, very dry there, and then surging humidity through the central and eastern states by the time we're reaching about the 15th, 16th, which is going to put us in a prime position for cold fronts to swing through, bringing cold, dry air again, and numerous thunderstorm and severe weather threats within this area. With all that being said, let's just dive into the precipitation, though, and take a look at things. And as you can see, I'm going to take us towards this afternoon on Thursday the 1st. And what we see, it is May now. That's crazy. So happy May, everybody. We do see thunderstorms abundant throughout the deep south into some of the Ohio Valley, even in some of the mid-Atlantic there. Your low is right here. Typically, you're going to draw a line like this. And most of this is going to be showery. Most of this is going to be thunderstorm activity to the south there. Overall, our jet stream is a ridge in the west, and we do see cooler, drier air able to make its way in. So the warmth is pushing more towards the east here, certainly in the west, but this cold is going to funnel into the central. It's going to kind of eat up the gap here between the two very warm air masses. So let's take a look at by Friday afternoon. And we can clearly see this jet stream is diving southward in the central states while there's still warm kind of humid air making its way up the eastern seaboard and certainly over the west again. All of this interaction, as you can see, is just going to flare up a bunch of thunderstorms from the south central states into the deep south, into the Midwest, Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic. All of these areas are seeing thunderstorm chances for tomorrow on Friday, May 2nd. By the time we reach Saturday, May 3rd, this system is not a quick mover by any means. We still have thunderstorms abundant throughout this area. We do have a marginal risk for a very large area across the east for Saturday. I do suspect that could get upgraded to at least a slight risk, so could be a pretty big East Coast day for Saturday on the May 3rd. As we reach towards Sunday on the 4th, we see that there is some snowfall, some rainfall, dependent on your location and elevation, mostly out west. And then the east is still dealing with at least showery activity, if not maybe still some thunderstorm chances for Sunday on the 4th. Cinco de Mayo here on May 5th. We see continued rainfall along the eastern states here still by this point. We also see still that storm system impacting the Rockies. Again, high elevation snowfall, low elevation rainfall there. Looking towards Tuesday on the 6th, we can see that this system is still bringing showers, but it is dying down in the east. I think this system is going to be our more prevalent one. At this point, we see some pretty deep snowfall for those high elevation locations, and we do see some severe weather and thunderstorms flaring up for the central and southern plains by Tuesday the 6th. That does expand eastward for Wednesday the 7th, east and southward, I would say, as there's still thunderstorm and severe weather chances from Texas all the way through Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, probably in Alabama as well. So a pretty widespread area there. By the time we're reaching Thursday, we get an interesting little pattern. We have this ridge over the central states, and we get a backdoor cold front here over the east. So there's some cold air trying to make its way in from the east down into this Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic area. We call this a backdoor cold front. Typically, they come from the west. This one comes from the east. A little weird. We do see precipitation, again, up and down the eastern seaboard. Deep south areas dealing with some thunderstorms. I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually some thunderstorms, as we have some pretty deep, cold, dry air there. And there's a lot of humidity and warmth still surging up the east. This could set up a pretty interesting situation there in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. We'll see what happens with that Thursday the 8th again. Friday the 9th here, some leftover precipitation for the deep south and northeast there. Saturday on the 10th, the southeast is the only area really experiencing widespread thunderstorms. Sunday the 11th, same thing. Monday the 12th, same thing. It's moving up into the Mid-Atlantic though, but still, that is your primary area dealing with this precipitation. And as we move towards Tuesday on the 13th, we've really quieted down. We see the Rockies dealing with a little bit of precipitation, the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast as well, but nothing crazy. Even for Wednesday the 14th, nothing crazy outside of the Northwest where a more major storm system looks to be moving onshore. Some snowfall for the Cascades and Northern Rockies, mostly rainfall though up there in the Northwest. That's Wednesday the 14th. That is very far out, so take this with a grain of salt, of course. Thursday on the 15th, we look like the activity is going to be beginning to kind of regain its hold over the Rockies and Plains here, starting Thursday the 15th. And that is the end of the model run, but it's pretty clear that we have a low developing and we're going to get some more severe weather going here. Also the southeast dealing with some pretty widespread thunderstorms, so activity returning here. And again, on that humidity map we just looked at a minute ago, this is really the 15th, 16th when that humidity surges once again. So that is ample amounts of humidity for this widespread thunderstorm activity in the central and eastern states. Looking towards the total precipitation, we can see it's this south central up the eastern states area where we're really seeing above average precipitation, a little drier for the west and the north central states there. Looking at the anomalies for sure, the northwest into these, again, Midwest and central states, that is the driest area in the nation. Right underneath it for the four corner states eastward through the deep south into the southeast and up the Mid-Atlantic and even northeast there, that is where we're seeing the most above average precipitation. Interestingly enough, this is quite the opposite actually of what we had been experiencing. Pretty interesting there. Storm Prediction Center outlook here. For day one, we have a very large general thunderstorm risk area in the lighter green. That is where we expect general thunderstorms, but anything is possible, so heed every watch, warning, and advisory. The darker green area is your level 1 marginal risk, where we expect isolated severe weather to occur today on Thursday, May 1st. And then the yellow area there from Oklahoma, Texas, eastward through the deep south, and then back up northward through the Ohio Valley. That is your level 2 slight risk, where we expect more scattered about severe weather to be occurring, so a little bit more elevated risk in those areas. Day 2, a lot of the same, a little less widespread with that slight risk. It's mostly just for central Texas, but we have the general, the marginal, and the slight there for tomorrow on Friday the 2nd. And then for day 3, this is that day that I was talking about where we have the marginal risk up and down this eastern area. It's leaving room for a slight risk upgrade at least. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Time will tell, of course, though. And then one more thing I wanted to show today is the 30-day temperature anomalies at the very end of April, because this is your actual April temperature anomalies overall. So you can see we had a very warm April across a lot of the deeper south areas, especially in the south central and southeastern states. The coolest areas compared to normal were those areas close to that Canadian border. And this is a lot of the temperature pattern that we had been talking about throughout a lot of April. This cold and warmth interaction is what has led to a lot of our severe weather, where we've had the abnormally cool temperatures to the north and the abnormally warmth here. Obviously, the south is already typically warmer than the north, so this contrast, this increased contrast between these air masses has definitely increased the instability in a lot of these areas, and that's why we've seen an active, not only April, but March and February, and really the whole year has been active severe weather. With all that being said, we upload every single day, so be sure to subscribe. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload, so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.